Alright, there we go. Very special guest this week on the podcast. And lend us a look. That's right, that is. I'm Stumpy, I am.
I'm Cole, I am.
And oh, you are. Yeah, that's the Poddy C officially.
Unofficially.
The best podcast on computer, and we'll hope you're alive. We got with us a proper Nard City totty bloke, speak from Mouse Sports. You right, boy?
You did not tell me you were going to do that.
I always translate the intro into the guest's native language, and yours just happens to be Norwich.
Gibberish.
That's the best response we've had yet, though. That was genuine, I know that you've moved away from home recently, or you've moved away from Norwich. That must have felt like you were back in your home city for a little while.
Yeah, it was like relocation. I suddenly felt like I'd travelled a few hundred miles. It was brilliant.
Oh, you're welcome. So where are you right now, Speed?
I'm in Hamburg right now.
Hamburg, in the Mouse House.
In the Mouse House, yes.
With a lot, and literally a lot, and literally cooks here, the big man.
Literally a lot and literally cooks here. Yeah, they're currently ordering blueberry cheesecake from McDonald's.
Sorry? By the way, you guys will be able to hear a lot laughing and stuff in the background for this entire episode, which is cute. I didn't know you could get blueberry cheesecake from McDonald's in Germany.
Apparently it's a blueberry cheesecake. They show me it.
What?
Is it like a German thing?
I guess it must be a German thing.
We get apple pies here, so I mean it makes sense that they have something similar but different.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Get me a big
right, so,
for fuck's sake.
Speed. Right, stop ordering McDonald's, do a fucking podcast. Okay?
Sorry, I haven't
You're
eaten
already
since last
an
night.
hour late to recording this.
Yeah, we've delayed the
sake.
stream. Or delayed the stream.
Yep.
Right,
It's fine.
so, before this episode started, we had to talk you through how to record your own audio, and that failed after I asked you 2 questions, and a lot came in and did it all for you. Does he also remind you to brush your teeth and eat your greens and rotate to the back post and everything like that? He reminds you of everything, right?
No, actually, funnily enough. I am a somewhat functional human being outside of the computer. It's just I'm incapable with a computer. He's looking at me now.
So at least you function on your own, which I respect.
Yeah.
Good man.
I do know how to make toast and stuff, so...
In all seriousness, how's it been? How's the lifestyle change been moving over to Germany?
It's been really nice. It's actually been really good being able to take the piss out of Linus in person.
The dream.
Like there's a difference between calling him a dickhead online and calling him a dickhead in person and then getting punched in the face for it. It's a different vibe.
He's a big man, and you are not a big man.
Yeah, he is a humongous
man.
Yeah, you were a boy. Yeah, he could easily put you in the fucking ground, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, he is 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide, 6 foot out, so, it's quite hard to get to his head. I do normally need a stepladder for that.
You've definitely got a type speed, because you moved on from fruity to then a lot.
Yeah, I guess I just like a dominating alpha male.
Yeah, you like a big man to your side.
I do.
Right, so let's talk about Rocket League, okay? So, we're gonna brush through them, because Speed, again, with Turbo's episode... He's an interesting person. We want to get to know what the fuck he was about.
Yeah.
You have about 30 layers to you, and I want to dig through every single one of them, right? So you have a few questions at the end. But first, North American Rocket League, where NRG are now 6-0. And Turbo last week was saying about how confident they were going into the season and how good they have been playing so far. Obviously, at that point, they still had yet to play C9 and Pittsburgh Knights. What do you reckon to NRG?
I mean, that's literally the expected result, is it not? Literally, did everybody not just go, yeah, okay, they'll just go 7-0 and then we'll move on with our lives and then the rest of League Play can battle it out? No, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the addition of Turbo has obviously been maybe the best roster move that we've, seen for a while. Obviously, there's been some pretty disastrous ones. Yeah, I was trying to think if there's any that aren't brilliant.
Season 5 Complexity, they did something with Metsonoris. I think that was the best roster move. He's going to come punch me now.
There was a pretty good one with Flipside Tactics, bringing in a guy called Speed before WSOE. That was all right for a little while.
That
was average for about a month and a half.
Good month and a half, though.
Then online gameplay happened.
Hell of a peak.
It was, quite honestly. It can't get much better than that.
No. Okay, so obviously NRG, then, fair enough. Expected 7-0. Well, currently 6-0, but presumably 7-0 after next week.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh Knights, obviously, they came out of DreamHack Montreal looking pretty fucking nutty. Mm-hmm. And this week, they proved they can both bounce one back from a tough loss, and secondly, they can win ugly. Have you ever actually played the Pittsburgh Knights, or the Peeps, whatever they were at the time?
Yeah, we did. We played them at Montreal in the round of 8. quarterfinals.
How'd you find it?
I mean, we should have won. No joke, we should have won. We had the lead 4 different times in game 5.
Oh.
Literally,
Jesus, in game 5, I thought you meant across the series.
4 different
Hold
times.
the lead, man. Defend.
Fuck's sake.
you're asking for Mouse Sports to defend. Do you know who we are?
I'm sorry.
No, you need to check it out. We went 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, lost 5-4.
That is agonizing. But you learn from that, right? You learn from that shit. I mean, you guys are the reverse sweep kings of this season, so you certainly know how to bounce back, as we were saying that Pittsburgh Knights can.
Yeah, we know how to bounce back. We don't know how to bounce forwards, as it seems.
It's like, instead of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, it's 1 step forward, 1 step back. So you're always staying at the same point.
Just hopping in the same place, and there's people overtaking, coming back, but you're just happy bouncing away, which is good. You know, there's definitely a place for that. There's also a place, obviously, for Rettles on Twitter.
Oh, I
right,
love him.
So
I love him.
that's like that. Honestly, it's the main thing for me in North America at the moment. I normally, if I'm watching North American Rocket League, I'm enjoying it. I'm normally on my phone. I'm doing something else. There's another sort of main focus. When Pittsburgh Knights are playing, I am so fucking involved with that game, and I make sure that I'm looking at every single thing that they do, because the main thing that happened this week was I put out a tweet saying something about Rettles using the skyline when they played versus NRG. Literally, in the middle of that series, I saw Rettles had liked it. When he was facing literally NRG to maybe give them their first loss ever. Okay, that shocked me. So I then took a screenshot, tweeted that, saying, fuck me, Rettles liked my tweet mid-series versus NRG, what a don. He then replied after game 4, saying game 5 equals Peeps game, and then they lost.
And then got shat on.
Quality.
Yeah.
I mean,
Quality.
you gotta give him credit. He definitely goes hard. It's like, it's go hard or go home. And for the most part, it's been going hard, apart from
I
this
think
week.
we've talked about this on stream before. I think the reason that this sort of this mantra that Rettles has about sort of being all cocky and stuff on Twitter works so well is because he punches up. Say they were smashing birds and they were 2-0 up, and he tweeted saying this is easy or as expected or something like that. Everyone would be like, come on, what are you doing? Yeah,
That's a bit
sort of a more
bad.
popular team. That's a bit
Yeah.
bad. But the fact that it's NRG with Turbo, who's given out all sorts of shit over the years on Twitter and been fantastic at it himself, and he knows that he could very well lose that game. He's taken the risk. He's gone for it, and I think it's fucking quality, and he deserves so much respect for his Twitter game.
I think it's brilliant, but I'd like to wonder what Rettles' brain is thinking when he's trying to punch up to one of only 2 people to win 3 world championships.
I bet that makes it better, right? Like, he's this little fucking David versus the Goliath of Turbo Pulsar. Rettles has he's won a major after coming out of the RLRS, and then now he is, I think, second at the moment they are in North America. I mean, I don't know what his teammates are like in terms of their sort of mentality. And if they're looking at his tweets just being like, fucking hell, I was tweeting in the middle of the fucking series. Mister's there just like, Rettles, can you please turn off your phone? He's there going, that friggin' G2 suck, dude! And he's like scoring a flip reset.
The worst thing is that Gyro and Mist are really nice, and I think Mist is actually really quiet. Then you've just got Rettles, who's this blundering ape.
They do seem sweet.
Do you realise that you've basically just described mouse sports with that sentence? You have
What, Linus being the
a
blundering
quiet
ape?
person and then a blundering ape. Which, it could be you or it could be Linus.
It's
It could be
100%
anybody.
Linus.
Okay, and then you're the gyro.
You've got the mobility of a teaspoon, Linus.
I can just imagine a lot staring at everything you're saying right now, like putting you under the microscope with your answers.
He is. He is literally sat there looking at me. He could be playing Rocket League, but hey, no, let's just look at speed talk for an hour.
You don't need to practice. You're first of EU, man. Chill. Eat some
It's not
McDonald's fucking
Cheesecake.
crumpets or whatever it is you were ordering earlier.
Oh,
What was it?
crumpets, that'd be good. Blueberry
something.
crumpets.
Oh, yes, please.
No, thank you.
I don't think Germany knows what crumpets are.
Does Linus know what crumpets are?
Linus, you know what a crumpet is? He doesn't. So you see that door over there? Walk out of it and don't come back.
We'll bring some with us to Madrid, where we'll see you.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes, when?
December.
What do you mean when?
The
Brilliant
18th
stuff.
or whatever it is.
No, as in like when you'll
30th.
see us. Like,
Oh, right. I thought you were saying when are we going to meet in Madrid? I thought you just thought that I'd be like, hey, mate, do you want to come to Madrid?
I just fancy
Go to
that.
Madrid and eat some crumpets.
Need some crumpets of a lot.
Just turn around and go, Madrid's a bit awkward. You're only about 40 miles away from my house. Why would we be going all the way to Madrid for some crumpets?
That'd be fun. That sounds nice. Going to Madrid for some crumpets. A nice midday crump sesh. Oh, the dream.
That's the podcast title right now. Going to Madrid for some crumpets with speed.
We need to get a picture of this for Twitter now.
Yes, we
Like
do.
when it happens. So Speed, obviously as a pro, you're first thing Pittsburgh Knights,
Yep.
and you've just beat them in the game 5, and you go on Twitter to see that he's just been live tweeting it, and you see that he's just sent out a tweet in like after game 4 saying, yeah, by the way, game 5 we win this. Are you impressed with that, or are you feeling a bit disrespected with the fact that, mate, look, we're playing very high level Rocket League, don't be a dick?
Oh, I mean, I don't really care because I've got the win.
How about if you lose? How about if you lose and you see that?
Oh, then that is a bit upsetting. That is very upsetting that I've managed to lose to someone who's basically AFK mid-series.
Like Ronicky was. But we can get on to that.
We'll get to that.
We can get on to that.
Uh-oh.
It's
uh-oh.
fine.
Oh, no,
Speed,
this has
it's
took a dark
okay.
turn.
Speed, it's okay. Okay, so, obviously we're talking about the good teams, your NRGs, your Pittsburgh Knights. But there's also, at the other end of the spectrum, Cloud9. Yeah. Cole, what's happened so far, Cole? Go on, give us a little timeline.
Well, Cloud9 have been losing to bloody everyone. I think they won their first game of the season, and everyone was like, oh yeah, they're Cloud9, they're going to do fine.
Classic.
And then it was last week where they suddenly had 2 losses, an absolutely brutal defeat against the Birds and Space Station Gaming after they almost reverse swept them. They lost the OT, they lost the last game in OT. Then this week, they only had 1 game, and it's the last billing, and it's against NRG. So they have to wait before 5 other series, either psyching themselves up out or hyping themselves up. Then they come up against them. In game 1, they go 2-0 up. And it's like, Cloud9 are back, all their fans are happy. And then they just collapse again. And the sad thing, the thing that worries me for Cloud9 the most, is that against NRG, to my eyes, they weren't playing that bad. Like, they didn't have a spark, maybe, but they weren't appalling. You know, if you go 2 up against NRG in any game, you got to be doing something right, yeah?
Hang on, let's get some...
And they
Linus,
still
didn't you
lost.
talk to Torment last night? Did he say they played well? Cloud9? Yeah. Okay.
Inside
So
scoop.
Cloud9 said that they felt that they played well. So I don't know. I mean, to be fair, G2 did exactly the same thing 2 weeks ago, where they went 2-0 up in game 1 and then dropped the ball, and then from then on they just can't come back.
I mean, even if you look at the scores for the game, so I admittedly was asleep by this point. It's a late game. I'm a tired
same.
man.
It was tough to stay up.
So the first game, like Cole said, was 3-2 in overtime to NRG. So like you say, very close one. Second game, even then, was 3-2. And then it was a 5-2. So there was still goals scored, ultimately, for Cloud9 each time.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't put it away. And what we saw last week was the main issue seemed to be the speed of everything, where it seemed like they had like 5% of brain lag going on, where they were going to be there, just the tiniest bit later than their opponent to every single ball, or they knew where to be, but they just weren't there quite yet. They were like 1 car's length away.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's the side of C9 that we've really seen before, and I don't know why it's happening either, because 1 and 4 is not a place where they should be.
I think that's exactly why. Like, I think the most pressure I've ever been on is the promotion tournament. Like, without a doubt. So
Everyone says that who's been in there. I mean, like, a lot is fucking seasoned at them at this point. But, like...
Linus is seasoned at losing at them as well.
Not this season.
Yeah, not this season. Why is it so scary, like, looking down the barrel of the promotion relegation, tournament? Why is that such a scary thing?
Right about now, it's what decides having a career and having it as a part-time job, because RLRS salaries aren't as much as what you can... Like, it's not enough to live off of, whereas RLCS is. So, put simply, it's a difference between, I've got to go work at McDonald's for 6 hours a day, or I get to sit at home and sleep until 3.
So if Cloud9 do end up going into a relegation scrap, like the fact that they've all got like Twitch streams and YouTube channels and stuff like that, in theory they don't have that pressure on them.
No,
so
they
should be a
don't.
huge advantage
It's
for
why
them.
pros should stream generally, because it gives
Absolutely.
you that safety net, and Squishy has
Absolutely.
done the fucking perfect thing, and even if he becomes dog shit overnight, who cares? He still has 6,000 subs who are giving him money
Oh, it's
for it.
unbelievable.
He's never going to not be able to score 6 flip resets, is he? That is
Yeah.
just part of him. He can always
But
do that.
as far as I know, Torment and Gimmick don't stream, and they don't have that safety net. And if, for example, I'm not saying this will happen because it would be crazy if they did, but say, for example, Cloud9 dropped the 3 of them, Squishy is the only one out of those who has had that foresight to be creating YouTube content, to be streaming. And it's what I praised Fruity for in our week 2 podcast or whatever.
Don't
where
praise
I was
Fruity.
saying,
Don't give him an ego.
No, I'm always leaving it. If he's doing something right and you're fucking not, Speed.
What do you mean? I do stream every once in a while.
Yeah, you stream occasionally. You're doing all right. I've seen you live a few times.
But stream more. Everybody stream more. A lot streams, right? I've said to him before, I absolutely adore a lot streams when he's done like 6-mans and stuff like that, or just doing ranked with you guys or whatever. It's just such a good thing to do, and it annoys when people don't.
Linus
Did he
likes
shout,
you
"Fuck
now,
you"?
apparently. No,
I like him now. I've always.
Oh, that's cute.
Do you want to get in bed together, or? Oh, okay, that's a date.
You and me can go eat some crumpets in Madrid if they're sort of.
Yeah, we
busy
can
in
have
bed.
crumpets in Madrid, and they can have, I don't know, each other in Swansea or something.
That's a good autobiography title. Cole has crumpets in Madrid. I have a lot in Swansea. that seems cute. So yeah, Speed, right. The fact that Cloud9 are at the bottom, second bottom, but I guess draw, and they're only doing all right on the goal difference. Mm-hmm. Or the game difference rather. Do you think that they are able to lift themselves out of this and get themselves into a better position, considering the fact that next week they face G2 and then Rogue?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got Rogue, who has won 4 games all season, as in 4 singular games all season.
Yeah.
So like, and like you said, Cloud9 have got good game differential the last time I checked, so they could potentially
8-12
Rogue.
at the moment.
I mean, 8-12 for a team that's 1-4 is very solid. So if they could get a win against Rogue, and even if they lost to G2 in a close series, 2-5, matching up with hopefully another team that ends up 2-5 should get them top 6. And I have no doubt that if they got into the regional championship, they'd remember how to hit the ball, and so we'd all be all right.
It's always different at a LAN, right? Like, I mean, everyone says that Mouse Sports and you in particular, Speed, are LAN players. What is it that makes that vibe so different to playing online?
I don't know. I don't know whether it affects them as much as me, but LAN affects me so much more because I just get to screech at them because they're like 2 feet away. Like I said, I think there's something different about being right next to them to being 3,000 mile away. I don't know what it is. It's the seeing people.
I guess it's the you can feel the chemistry. It's not just how you're like saying things to each other. You can then see when somebody is hyped, and you can like fist bump or whatever it is, and just those little bits of ritual sort of get you and keep you in that sort of zone. They sort of keep your blinkers on almost. So obviously you guys are, all 3 of you are now at the Mouse House, because I know that Cooks here went there before you guys, right? Because his internet is dog shit.
Yeah, his internet is dog shit. He went the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He's been every week of league play basically. It's just that me and Linus have been at home, but because we've obviously had a double bill of 2 series games, 2 series weeks. There we go, got there in the end. We decided to come here for boot camp for this week.
Do you reckon that's helped?
I mean, Linus is complaining that apparently he's feeling uncomfortable on the setup. Blah 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 blah.
Heavy game bug.
It's heavy game bug.
Heavy car.
Heavy car bug, heavy brain bug, to be honest with you.
I reckon he does have a big old heavy brain, to be fair. Like a hippo's brain.
He is
Just
very
crammed
dense.
in the skull.
Yeah, I would
Dense.
I would describe Linus as very dense.
What's the house like? Is it a state or is it quite clean?
What are you now saying?
What, us or a lot?
Yeah, Linus has just said that you need to go and look at something on Twitter.
Oh, Lena, right, a lot. We'll get you on another fucking episode. Leave Speed alone.
Here we go. All right, we got a Twitter question. I got it. I'll put it in.
How does it feel that at any moment I can literally chuck you out the
not
window?
yet.
Whoa,
Speed, not yet, mate.
My bad.
That's a question
I read and
for
look.
the part of the Google Doc, right, which says Speed's questions, okay?
My bad. Right, go back to
hell,
the conversation that we had before Linus so rudely interrupted about him being dense.
What I was going to ask was, what's your house like? Is it a fucking state or is it quite clean?
No, it's really nice, and that's probably because they gave us a waiver which was like, basically, don't shit on our house or we'll shit on you.
Jesus, these Germans, they say what they mean.
No, it is really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we are enjoying it.
What's the exact address for all the fanboys so they can go there?
It is 69420. You don't know this address. Hamburg.
Cool. Everybody note that down and get yourselves over there and eat some crumpets with Speed. Right, NA, done. We've smashed that. Easy. EU, right. This is where there's a little bit more of... it's a little bit more flippy about it at the moment, where in NA, we have the one confirmed team to be going through into the playoffs. And in EU, we have one team who are confirmed to be going into the relegation tournament.
Rest in peace, Complexity.
Rest in peace. So yeah, obviously talking about Complexity, they're now confirmed relegation tournament going 0-6 after another 2 losses to you guys, Mouse, and also Reciprocity. Cole, you've been down on Complexity since week 1, and I didn't necessarily think they were going to be that bad. Did you anticipate it to be this abysmal?
No, I didn't at all. I mean, I thought that they'd struggle, but not 0-6. Like, you got to be especially bad to go 0-6, I feel. I wasn't sure they were that.
Yeah. Speed?
I mean, they've literally had 4 5-game series. They've not been swept in any series this season, for starters. They've had 4 5-game series and 2 3-1s.
Do you think they're hard done by them by the table, or do you think it's a fair reflection?
No, they're hard done by the table, but at the same time, you have to get to a game 5 and close it out. Like, you can't get to a game 5 and crap the bed and then lose, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so obviously against you guys this week, it was a 3-2. And to be honest, we did our predictions on stream beforehand, and we thought it'd be pretty comfortable. We thought that was going to be a Mouse win, a 3-0, maybe a 3-1, something like that. When it got to game 5, were you shocked that they were doing that well?
Yeah, there was a part of like the Complexity. We hadn't seen them pass all season. This was something which people have been saying, is that Complexity hadn't passed all season. They had good defense. I think they still have one of the best defenses in the league, but they just don't score because they don't create proper chances. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden they decided they wanted to learn how to play offense in our series and actually could. So that thrown us off a bit.
I mean, game 1 was a 4-0. Bear in mind, like that was
exactly.
That was a scary game. Games 3, 4, and 5 were all overtimes. And you guys couldn't lose any of them because that would then, obviously apart from the third one, so the first one out of the series, because that's then you guys gone. What's your mentality going into it when the seconds start racking up and you think, holy shit, actually, one more and we've given Complexity their first win of the season?
I mean, for starters, you take every game one at a time and almost every goal one at a time, if that makes sense. Like, because you get a perfect reset every time. There's no point, like, it's not like CS where you have eco rounds, etc.
Yeah.
Like, the ball goes in, you go back on the same kickoff as always. So you have to kind of treat it one goal at a time. So there's no different to overtime, like, in my opinion, at least.
Is that something you've had to teach yourself, though? Is that something you've had to really train yourself to do, to not see overtime as any different?
Yeah, there's a part of people shitting themselves, and that's probably because they're like, oh my god, we are so close to winning this, or we are so close to losing this, when in reality you're just as close as like any other time at the end of the day.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
There's no difference between an overtime, excuse me, and a 0-0 with 25 seconds left. It's all the same thing, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the very unlikely kickoff goal. I was going to say, you said earlier, you come up against Complexity, and suddenly they're passing, they're zipping the ball around, they win game 1 really well as well.
Yeah.
Is that where Lethamere comes in?
Yeah, that is where I think actually I came in and said something, but I can't remember what I said. And then Leth was like, "Yeah, you just need to shoot, lol."
Do the thing.
do the offense. You guys know how to do it. Why are you not doing it? What is going on? And so we went, oh shit, yeah, hang on, ball in the net. There we go. And then game 2, ball in net, courtesy of Cooks here.
I mean, this was like the best Complexity I think we've seen all season by a country mile.
It was an RLCS team. It was a team from the RLCS.
Like, they actually played with purpose, and it seemed like they did well with their backs against the wall. It's not the best thing to do, ever, have back against the wall and then start to perform.
Yeah, they played to win as opposed to play to not lose. This is what I'm saying, is that their defense is like 3rd in the league, which for a team that's 0-6 is pretty fucking solid, right?
Yeah.
But, like, they've always played to not lose is what I've seen it, whereas this week they were like, okay, we actually don't have anything to lose anymore, let's actually play to win, so then they started to go on offense, which is why they look so much better.
Obviously, the mentality that people have spoken about before on the team was pretty shaky after Flake's pre-season wanted to kick Greasy. And it was a little bit awkward. And also that then didn't happen, and people were wondering, is that why they've been so down going into it after having decent sort of runs of dream hacks? Speed, what can a bad mentality do to a team who otherwise on paper are very strong players?
It completely fucking destroys a team. If you have a player or players that don't actually like want it the same way, or have different mentalities, it completely fucking shifts the team. Especially when you're losing. Like when you're winning, it doesn't really matter so much. But as soon as you go, say 2-0 down in a series and need to reverse sweep, having a teammate good as Linus really helps. Like that calm voice, like you said, to reset it. Although it's not very calm, it's just shouty and loud.
But you trust it. You'd
Yeah.
follow that voice into battle.
It's a calm head, not a calm voice. Is what I'd put it as.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go over old ground, but the amount of times I've had a go at fucking Flakes for always catching, always dribbling, always doing that thing, and then Greasy and Magnus then just doing the exact opposite, and there's no meeting in the middle at any point. How do you... I'm not saying that there's an easy solution to that, but how do you tell an incredibly talented 1v1 player, sorry, can you dribble less?
Can you just hit the ball?
You
can't.
hit it hard.
Which is why Snasky's having aneurysms.
Yeah. I feel for him. I really do.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that Flakes' playstyle is awful in that. I actually do think there's a space for it to work. I just don't think that is on that team.
You need players that love it and respect it and want to play around it. And
like reciprocity. With the sure set factor. Or
exactly.
even on Vitality, with what is ultimately 2 out of 3 1v1ers. Where that is a team that is still a world champion. That is a team that can make it work and will make it work because they realise when to go into 1v1 mode and go for like the second or third man going for the bump, or when they can then go into the 3v3 mode and actually do pass between each other.
Bear in mind, though, that took a season.
It did, yeah.
Season 6 Vitality, they were woeful. They were double committing. That was their thing. They double committed 55 times a game.
Didn't make land.
Season 7, as soon as Gregan finally had enough time to work with them, the players had enough time to work with each other, and they come out and they just bloody boss the midfield left, right, and centre. So
to be fair, wasn't Season 6 the one with Pashy though as well?
It was with Pashy as well, yeah. I mean, the problems were deeper than just swapping Pashy for K-Dot. But yeah, that's a huge upgrade as well, of course.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's an average upgrade.
Yeah, you'll take that.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Speed, you guys are now top of the table. Congrats. Give it a little...
Thank you.
Well done. After beating Complexity and also beating my best mate, 2-time world champion, Violent Panda.
Smashing Panda.
No, it was a close win. It was a well-earned, hard win.
They were close games, to be fair. It was 1-0, 1-0, 2-1. They were so tight.
Yeah, hard game because my best mate, 2-time world champion, Violent Panda, is actually a really good Rocket League player. So, Speed, what do you reckon to the big three having switched to EU and is now Mouse, Reciprocity, and Vitality?
I mean, I love hearing that, actually. At some point, it needs to be a big one, personally, with just us. But, right now, it's progress. It's progress from being 7th in EU last season, put it that way.
I mean, you're only on top because you played one less series. So, you're not...
All right.
Let's not...
Chill out.
Not get ahead of ourselves, mate. Okay, so, obviously, the fact that you guys are on top, the mentality of Mouse must be like in the clouds right now. Like that is amazing to be at the top of EU at the moment.
Yeah, it is really good. And the thing which I think I've enjoyed the most is the fact that like if mistakes happen, we then actually fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the biggest example that I was thinking about yesterday is that in an ideal world we actually swept TSM and now we'd need literally one game win this weekend in order to make top 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because we lost that so badly, have you seen us being in trouble whatsoever on the 0 seconds as soon as we're a goal up anymore? Like we've literally not had a single issue at that point.
I mean, that was an incredible goal from Met, going from the halfway line, just being like, nah, let's fucking do it, lads.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. It's I like the fact that there's such an obvious line in the sand been drawn of it's almost like a battle plan should something happen. So it's like, okay, we're only 1 goal up and it's 0 seconds. Let's do that thing. And it's almost regimented in that way. Is that something that's come from Lethamir?
Yes. Yeah, it's come from Leth. It's the mindset that we all have to work together to put the ball down as opposed to one person just charging at it and hoping.
Yeah.
There was a game the week after. I can't remember who you were against,
Barca.
but maybe, yeah. And I think they had some pressure in the midfield, and I was screaming at someone to go for the ball, and no one was. And I think that's because that was just following the TSM result. And you definitely, as you say, you got better since then. But you went from maybe being a bit aggressive at 0 seconds against TSM to majorly passive against Barca at that sort of 0 second chance they had. So now, do you think you sort of found that middle ground finally?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter being passive or aggressive. It's just that we all have to have the same idea.
Got ya.
Like we lost to TSM on that 0 seconds because one of us wanted to be aggressive, one of us wanted to be passive, one of us wanted to just kind of sit there and watch the game and I don't know, have a crumpet
and hope and have a crumpet.
Yeah, hope and have a crumpet. And
so is it always the same at 0 seconds, or do you have a leader? Is it like whatever a lot says goes? If he says be aggressive, you go for it, or how does that system work?
No, I don't necessarily even think we have a leader. We just kind of we all look for each other and go, right, what does this one person in front of me want to do? It's kind of whoever's first on the pitch kind of makes that decision almost.
I like that.
And then that comes down to that first person decision making, right? If that first person wants to dive in on this and hope that someone's behind, then you have to almost hope that the second man has the good decision making as well. I guess, I don't know.
Again, it's about that trust, right? Like being able to trust that your teammate will do the right decision. And it's almost trying to play it like a normal game, but realizing the situation you're in. It's not like being at like you said about scoring the goal and then just taking it one goal at a time. It's sort of trying to realize how big this situation is in this moment, but without letting those thoughts take over and sort of being able to realize this isn't a normal part. Let's just hit the ground and then we're done. We can sort of move on.
Exactly. Just look at areas of the pitch. They have the tiniest bit of the goal to aim at. Well, we have the entire field, including their goal, to aim at. Like,
sounds easy when you put it like that, right?
It does sound easy. It does sound easy.
I think there was a game last night where that came into action. I can't remember which series it was in, but it was 0 seconds, and you guys were 1 goal up. It was probably against Dignitas at some point because they were a one-game series. One goal games rather. And you guys, I think, passed it 3 times out of defense, then a lot touched it down. And looking back with what you said now, that makes a lot of sense. That's sort of the way that you decided to go about it, because you're thinking, okay, we know what we want to do. Let's not rush it for the sake of rushing it. And it's a good way of thinking about it, right? Where you're saying, we have literally the entire pitch to aim for. They need to keep it off the ground and get it in the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Also, we just don't force putting the ball down. At least I don't. I don't know whether they do, actually. I haven't said to them about it. But, like, the ball naturally hits the floor when you play the game. Like, just play the game. Don't concede. If you get a chance to put it down, then put it down. If you don't, then, all right, just keep booming it around until they run out of boost and naturally have to put it down themselves because they can't keep the play going.
It comes across like you guys are supremely confident, both individually and in each other, and also in the system that you have going on. The fact that you're describing not panicking at the most panic-inducing moment in all of Rocket League. 0 seconds, you're up by 1. Holy shit, if they score, we're gonna look like idiots. That's the scariest moment there is. You're basically saying, yeah, it's all good, it's chill. That's
we're all good.
That doesn't, I mean, you've been in a lot of teams. Have you ever had that much confidence before in your teammates and in the system?
No, not at all. Not at all, and I've never had it click in my head until we got such a crushing defeat against TSM that this was kind of the way that I wanted to do it and the way that it seems to work, right?
Yeah.
Because beforehand it was always just we're on 0 seconds, let's put this ball down. How do we do it? I don't know. Let's just try.
Say you go on to win RLCS this season, right? Beautiful. It's the best storyline. It's the best world that we're in right now, right?
A lot from being relegated to being anti-relegated.
Anti-relegated, yeah. You're looking back at the watershed moment, the moment where you thought, wow, this could be our season. Do you think that TSM loss ends up being a massive positive overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so long as we make LAN, I'm actually glad that we lost to TSM. It taught us stuff.
Yeah, working from that loss against TSM, it was a reverse sweep, and then the next week you guys then reverse swept Barcelona, and then the next week you then reverse swept Vitality. You guys have been all about the reverse sweeps ever since that TSM loss. What's it like being on sort of both sides of that? Because the comms videos, which, guys, if you have not listened to these, they are fantastic. Just hearing what goes on in the comms and how bullshit it is, but also very clever it is. They're amazing. What's it like in those moments where, especially maybe going up against Vitality, you've already thought, well, we've been reverse swept and we've reverse swept these are the world champions now. What's the thought in camp Mouse?
In Camp Mouse, it's treat every game as its own thing. Like Linus is like, it's 0-0. It's 0-0. It's 0-0. Like, because at the end of the day, everything resets on that kickoff. Like even in a game, it resets on that kickoff, right? And especially against Vitality, we said it in our comms that we were playing well. We were playing well, and provided we kept playing like that, we'll get chances and we'll get goals. You just have to take it one game at a time, and so we did. That's kind of the mindset we have in reverse sweeps.
I think it's a great way to go about it. Like you said, taking it one game at a time, hoping to work forwards from each one, and then also learning from those losses, because my God, they can teach more than the wins. I know Gregan says that at least. Speaking of Gregan, of course, you started life, Mr. Speed, little old sprogling, all right? You were trying out for the RLCS. You were with Gregan. He found you. He scouted you out.
He did. He talked you up.
Won't shut up about it.
Neither will we, mate. Just you wait.
Yeah, back in season 4. But then, you ran into the Goliath. Cool Cole 93, who knocked you out of the qualification of the RRS. Is that still the most embarrassing loss of your career?
Yes. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I've actually erased it from my memory, so thank you for bringing it back up.
And Kingfisher. 3 names that shall haunt you in your sleep, no matter how much success you have.
I may win RLCS, but just remember that once upon a time I did in fact lose to Zippy Doodah, Kingfisher, and Google Cole.
It's good to keep you grounded, mate. It is good to keep you grounded. You know, you're not above being insulted, being mocked, and I think it's losses like that which are important for your mindset.
That didn't keep me grounded. That shoved me so far through the floor I came up a different continent.
You're a mole man now. Your hands mole man.
Shoved through Europe, ends up in Asia.
When you win Season 8, you're going to look out and be really happy, looking out into the crowd. You're going to see Cool Cole's little ginger face smiling back at you.
I'm going to be so smug.
It's gonna take the wind out.
A win for you is a win for me, mate. Remember that.
Yeah, because you can say I beat the world champion
in a competition situation as well.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh, what a dream. So, Speed, we're talking about your early days of Rocket League. Starting off, the first time we really saw you was when Gregan firstly wouldn't stop fucking going on about this Speed kid that he'd found.
Yeah.
And then you were a sub at the Gfinity Elite Series for Reason Gaming.
Yes,
and then you had your first starting spot in week 2. What was the Elite Series like for you? Because we loved it, and we want so much more of stuff like that. What did you think of the Gfinity Elite Series, and was it the start that you needed?
All right, let's purely talking about the Elite Series. It's the best thing that Europe's had, and needs to come back. Because I'm still complaining about it on Twitter whenever there's a North American tournament that gets announced.
I've seen,
It's like we literally haven't had anything since then. Like Rocket Baguette is doing everything, and they only have so much funds. Whereas NA seems to have literally everything. The way I see it is that a year ago when Gfinity existed, there was the best RLRS season in terms of quality of teams there has ever been across both regions, where you had like Alpha, Devo, Bluey, me, Roniki, Tad, Casio, Flame, Freaky, all in one season.
Yeah. God.
I
didn't really think about it like that.
No, me neither.
Yeah, there you go. Whereas now, like, North America definitely has more depth, and that's down to the fact that Gfinity doesn't exist anymore, and there isn't so much EU tournaments going on. Like, there was a Gfinity 250 quid tournament every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the week. Whereas now that doesn't exist. Like, Gfinity was brilliant as a whole, and the Elite Series was the best part of it.
I know that, to your credit as well, you've always stayed close to the bubble scene, the players that you sort of rose along the ranks alongside. You still chat with those guys. What's the feeling with how EU is treated among those guys? Because ultimately, you are now in the inner ring. You're in the RLCS. You're very established as a pro player at the very top. Yep. It's the guys who are trying to break through that this is sort of life and death for. So is there a lot of anger there, or is it more indifference at this point? Have they given up?
I mean, it's anger from me, and this is the thing, right? Is that you are right. I don't get affected as much as they do, because I get to play every Sunday for like in RLCS lol, whereas they don't. Lol. Calix choke plans, by the way.
Poor fucking cat. So we said that Rettles is funny because he punches up.
Yeah, always
And
punch
you're
up,
here
mate.
Sorry,
punching
my bad,
down.
guys. My bad,
You're punching
guys.
down to the centre of the earth where shitty little Calix is.
He's currently
Oh.
sat in a hole,
God damn.
crying his eyes out. Yeah, I don't know what all the opinions are, but there's still quite a bit of anger going around that every time something gets announced, we're all just like, oh, yep, and another thing for North America. Don't you worry about it.
Somebody posted on Twitter saying that Gfinity had posted because they're a public company, they'd posted their sort of money shit for investors, and it mentioned that the Elite Series was coming back. So
It's
who
looking
knows?
promising.
It looks promising. I still don't trust it. I won't trust it until I'm literally there, because knowing esports, if Stumpy and I are involved, one, we won't hear about it until the day before. Two, we won't sign contracts until the minute before, and then suddenly we'll find ourselves looking down that camera and talking about players we've never heard of. So I don't quite trust it yet, but I would love for it to come back so much. Please, Mr. Gfinity, make it so.
Coming off the experience of signing our Elite Series contract as we arrive at the hotel.
Yeah.
For the Elite
Was that an
Series then
actual
the
thing?
next day. Yeah. That was funny though.
Unbelievable.
Like, it was one of those things where it's like, you're working it. You know you're working it. But I got sent my contract on the train, like, to London. So I was like, this is fine. This will do.
Yeah,
This
let's
is
just
alright.
read all the small print and go, you know what, it does say you're going to... It is like an Apple terms and conditions where they own your house in 20 years' time, but you know what? Yeah, go on. I don't
Joke's
have
on
enough
them,
time to
mate.
read it all.
I'm Ginger. I don't have a soul, so I've got nothing to give away.
Very good point. And I'm big enough as a person to have two souls, so...
Can I have one of yours?
No. No,
Okay.
Gfinity owns one, I own the other. Sorry, mate.
Harsh. Speed, we're interested in sort of the journey that you took, Speed, to get to where you are. So let's go back to the Gfinity Elite Series. You finished that. You're sort of bobbing along as a sub, as a starter in the Elite Series. And then suddenly, you're smashing everyone with Fruity and Mystic, and then Tadpole and Ronicky with Red Reserve. Was there a single moment where you suddenly thought, wait a minute, I am actually going to achieve this goal?
It was decent. It was all right. It was average. No, I don't know what it was. It was just that it was specifically Fruity, and then we wanted to try out other people. Like, me and Fruity got on really well. We had matching play styles, and we always felt that we could do something with it. And then to find the solid third in Shaq, it was Shaq, not Mystic. Get it right.
Shakaron.
Shaq, the legend.
The man, the myth.
The man, the myth.
Shaq.
Like, we didn't think we would do that well. At least I didn't. But then as soon as it started happening, like, we kept rolling with it. We kept rolling with it, and we kept getting good results and pushing, and it was really good, and it brought especially me and Fruity out into, like, the pro scene, as people went, oh, okay, they're butchering us in yet another tournament. All right.
So next week, you and Fruity play each other. It's Mouse versus Reciprocity.
Oh yeah, the free win. Yeah.
Yeah, the fifth game of the evening. If, say, how long ago was this? Like 2 years ago? If, like, 2 years ago, 18 months ago, whatever it was, we said that you would be battling at the top of RLCS EU against Fruity, and you're the top two teams in Europe, what would be your thoughts?
No, I tell you to grow up.
Grow up.
Go up.
No, literally, last season when I went to Florida, that was because I booked it 18 months ago, and at the time I was like, well, I'm not going to do anything out of this Rocket League thing, so let's just go to Florida now. And
Can you tell that story for anyone who doesn't know it, about how you ended up in Florida for RLCS?
Oh yeah, no, quite literally. It was a family holiday in Florida. It was booked in 2017 when I was with Greg, and pretty much.
You just come off your loss from Cool Call, you go downstairs, and Mum goes, do you want to go to Florida? And you're like, yes, please, Mother.
You don't really feel like being a pro is achievable if you've just lost a cool cold, do you?
Exactly. I don't think life is achievable at that stage. Yeah, I came, like, literally pretty much exactly that, apart from the Cool Call loss thing.
Yeah.
And then 18 months later, my mum's like, well, this is week 1 of RLCS. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't really know. And that was really awkward, because it was like, you know, this thing had been booked for 18 months, and it wasn't just that it was us four, it was a whole family thing. And I was like, do we go? Do I not? Iffy, flip a coin, guess I'm going.
How was the holiday? Was it worth it?
Oh yeah.
It was. It was
Hey,
a very
good.
good holiday. It was a very good holiday. Despite the loss, it was a very
get a
good
tan?
holiday. No, because I go white, red, white, and the cycle continues. It doesn't matter what I do.
So when you had, because you were with Flipside at the time, right? Well, when this all happened, or not with Flipside, playing alongside Flipside.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're on loan,
yeah.
weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like when you sort of had to obviously say to Cucks and the other guys at Flipside, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Florida for the first week. Sorry."
I mean, that was an interesting conversation. Let's put it that way. It was literally right after WSOE that I said it. I was like, "Look, I'm gonna have to be in Florida for the first week." Sorry. And initially they were like, "Well, that's shit. Don't lol."
Yeah. Well.
And then I kind of just held my ground, and so they kind of in the end were like, "Well, we'd rather play with you than with our sub." So
Who was your sub? Call them out.
Junior.
it was Frizz.
Oh, Frizz! Oh, we love Frizz. I
love
wanted
Frizz,
to
we
slam on
do.
someone.
We love Frizz, but we don't like his football club.
Leeds. Dirty Leeds.
Leeds.
Dirty Leeds.
Are they not? Oh, dirty Leeds.
We don't like Leeds. People who follow football dislike Leeds.
Leeds.
Bunch of bruisers. They're the sort of people that if they get relegated at your ground, they'll rip out your seats. which
Yeah,
happened
they're
at-
Millwall 2.0
Yeah,
is what
they
they
are.
are.
Wait, why does
Scum.
Frizz support shitty Leeds?
Because he's Danish. They're weird.
He's Danish, and he's gone,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm going to support a championship side
I wish I supported a championship
based
side.
in England, Leeds United, probably never even been there. He's just like, you know what? Yeah.
Fuck it. I mean, you got to admire it. I personally support. If I knew a single Danish team, holy shit, that joke would have been good.
Midtjylland.
Michelin. I've
You can
Team
tell
that looks like
Michelin tyres.
Midtjylland.
Cole's probably just Googled that.
No, I've not just Googled
Danish.
Midtjylland.
I heard you tipping and typing.
Fuck yourself. I'll cut it out in post.
Ah, not post. So, obviously, at the moment, top of EU, you got Mouse, and you guys are looking pretty sick, and you're first in EU. Is this the happiest roster you think that you've been on? Does it feel different mentally?
Yeah, it's the best roster I've been on mentally. Like I said, I don't think I'd ever be able to do 2 reverse sweeps back to back, let alone against the World Championships with any other team than this. Because there is always an extent of, if you go 2-0 down, you're getting smashed. You like, oh, this is really bad. I'm feeling really bad. But with us, it's just completely different. You go 2-0 down, and we're like, well, now we just know that it's written that we need to win this. Like we just the Bible predicts it.
I mean, you've got to do that so that the comms highlight video from Mouse can come out and be the best videos on Twitter at the time, because we've said that these come out. Please watch them. Anybody who's listening right now,
Please
go to Mouse's Twitter. I think they posted a YouTube link there, and it's all the comms overlaid over the game with some of the cast underneath. Really, really well done. How does it feel being at the center of them? And do you think, like, when you're playing and when you say something, do you think, oh shit, this is going to be in a video later?
Don't tilt out. Don't tilt out. Don't tilt out. Don't tilt out. Because I look like a knob
Yeah.
in the video.
No, that's not actually a part of it. It's literally just it kind of happens, and you're like, oh, I said stuff like this during it.
You enter a fugue state and remember
Like
nothing.
a fever dream.
Yeah, no, I don't actually remember the comms for the most part. Apart from just there's a lot of screaming and my ears hurt a lot at the end of it. I don't remember what was said.
Speaking of a lot, I've got to say, he seems inspirational as
so
fuck.
good.
The main thing I think, because you mentioned the hyping up something, but I think the thing that stood out for me when I listened to it was every time there's a goal, even if it's not his fault, he'll immediately, without fail, go, my bad, my bad. How much pressure does that take off? Because if the teammate thinks it's their fault, you're like, oh, phew, he didn't even realise it was my mistake.
Yeah, a massive amount. There was a goal. I can't remember what I did. Oh, it was the one against Vitality where I just need to hit it off the backboard and I just butcher it.
Oh, is that what you just completely missed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
Kate
was
up
fun.
scores an open net. That was interesting.
That was good.
But it's fine because 10 seconds later I did a double fake. Okay, just remember the double fake.
it's that
Forget the
game,
miss.
the double
Oh,
Okay.
what with the wall pass, and then a lot slams
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah.
And what, and a lot said, my bad, after that goal, did he?
Yeah, Linus was like, my bad, I should have rotated. I'm like, no, I probably should have
Brilliant.
just hit the ball, maybe.
Hit the ball on.
But again, that keeps it light. Like, for
It
a
does.
lot, taking on, say there's blame floating out there, a lot just grabs it, takes it on, and then it means nothing. Like, if that
Yeah.
blame is assigned to the person that actually whose fault it is, like yours probably, Speed, if it's actually assigned to you, then you're
No,
the
it's actually
burdened with
Cooks's.
that.
That was actually Cooks' fault, by the way. Yep.
Oh,
You can't question Cooks here. I'm not
allowed
allowed
to.
Not on our
Cooks
podcast.
is just looking at me like, "What are you talking about?"
we are diehard Cooks here fanboys. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare
Like,
you?
so the newest video isn't out at the time of recording. The newest video isn't out yet, which I am like I'm pressing F5 on the Mouse Sports Twitter.
Twitter.
Could
Yeah.
we get so this is the game. I'm presuming it'll be the one against Complexity, where a lot nailed a Game 5 OT winner. I can only imagine
yes.
the screams that happened. As it's not out yet, we were wondering, could you maybe give us a little sneak peek of how that winner sounded from your side of things?
Yeah, give me a minute. Let me just get Linus. Linus.
Okay.
This is get
want us
Cookster
to-
and Linus as well, if Cooks is keen.
They want us to reenact what happened when you scored the Game 5 overtime. You know, comms wise.
Right, Stumpy, give us some play-by-play so they've got something to react
Okay.
with.
Right, I'm going to do a little bit of play-by-play, and then the goal goes in and a lot reacts, all right?
No, I can't react like that. I
Yep.
can't fake it. I'm not a good faker.
Just
when it comes
give it a try.
It's fine. Give it a
Give
try,
it a
mate.
try.
Give it a try.
Let's go.
You
Okay,
need to
right,
do it as
so...
well, Speed.
Do it. Oh, no, he's pushing out. Honestly,
Oh,
unbelievable.
oh, come back.
Unbelievable.
I'll tell
No,
you
he's
what.
put his headphones on.
It has to be.
I'll tell
Right,
you
should
what,
we beat the
I'll do
others?
some play-by-play. I'll do play-by-play. Stumpy, you be a lot. And then
Okay.
Speed be... Speed, I guess.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah, I'm a
right.
lot. You're
You're
Speed. Cole is play-by-play. Cole is
Yeah.
James Bot, all right?
Okay. And the ball, and the ball is coming into the middle, and here it is. Here's a lot. He takes the shot, upper 90. It's good. It's Mousesports to take the win.
Are you?
Fucking let's go!
What a play from Mousesports. Everyone thought they'd lose this one.
I don't know.
Better than Complexity. I wonder what Speed's saying in comms right now.
Well, that was far too fucking close.
Brilliant.
Let's
Thank
go,
you.
Speed!
Thank
Oh,
you,
I'm
guys.
big and dense.
A beautiful piece of improv on the Subpar Podcast.
That was good. Wow, my voice hurts. How does not do that?
I don't know, man.
My,
He does that every goal as well for an entire series.
Even
my
if you're 5-1
Audacity like bar for that section, you know when it has like
Wait,
sort of
hang
like
on.
high peaks and whatever? It's
Yeah.
just a rectangle. Like the compressor didn't even bother trying to do anything
You
fancy.
made it a
was like,
rectangle.
It's
This
too,
is
it's,
just a rectangle.
it's gone too far back for me. I can't see my compressor. It's pretty...
It's not good.
Yikes. My bar, sorry.
That's beautiful. Thank you, guys. That was everything I imagined and more.
Okay, so Speed.
Yep.
Hi, mate. Before we
Hello.
get on to some super quick paced Twitter questions, I'm going to be talking about my player of the week, right? So, Speed, it's WEAK, player of the week.
I don't get it.
So it's not
Player
W-
of the week. Oh, okay.
Clever, innit?
Right.
So you get it, right? Okay, so
I'm glad you get it.
I feel bad for this one, but
I think I know who you're about to say. Does it start with R and end in a very long conspiracy theory about the world?
It's your old teammate.
Can do, yeah.
It's Roniki's thumbs or his USB cable. I'm not blaming him.
Or
I'm blaming-
something.
I'm blaming his thumbs or his USB cable because, to get everybody in the loop, Barcelona got to Game 5 versus Veloce in a reverse sweep, right? So it's Game 5, they've just won 2 in a row, and they've just equalised to 2-2 with 12 seconds left. Everyone, with bated breath, was poised for an overtime. On the kickoff, Ronicky was in the corner going for it. His car drove forward and jumped, but then that was sort of it. It like flopped forwards. He missed the ball. Freaky scored. Veloce won. Right?
Yep.
He then tweeted after the series, quote, "My controller disconnected, ... But the replay, which I saw on Reddit, showed from his POV, all of his inputs like went through to start the kickoff, and then he
Yep.
just sort of flopped about. I don't know if you've seen that POV video.
I have done, yes.
Speed. What do you think happened? Because I think everybody in their lives has done that. Like, gone for a kickoff.
Oh, I've done
and
it.
And their thumb slips off the stick and they just gets fucked. Or they don't press jump or it doesn't register. What do you reckon happened?
I actually think it was a disconnect.
Whoa.
I still think it's a disconnect because when my controller disconnects, the last input that I have is registered
Yeah.
until I reconnect the controller, right? And if you look on the kickoff, it's one fluid movement where he air rolls to the right.
Mm-hmm.
His boost is used constantly until it runs out, and it continues to air roll to the right. That to me looks like a disconnect.
So I love that. It's a fellow pro believing a fellow pro. There's been a few people on the RLCS subreddit that are saying, yeah, no, I've experienced this before. People saying they could dig out replay files of the exact same thing happening. And among all that support, Rettles.
What a hero.
Yeah, I'm
here
not
we
really
go.
buying the disconnect. I like Ronicky a lot, but I think he just fucked this one up. Straight up calling the guy out.
I mean, take that with a
Unbelievable.
pinch of salt. It's fucking Rettles.
Unbelievable.
I also agree. It was I think it might have been like a mix of a disconnect / a thumb slip, because it sort of had the look of your thumb slipping
Disconnect, then he
where
shat himself putting it back in or something.
something like that. I mean, CJ had his theory where there was a tornado that
Oh,
came
yeah, I
through,
remember that. I
blew
think
his
that's
windows
about right.
open, pulled his controller out of the USB cable. He then grabs the controller from the air, plugs it back in, continues, and then looks, and then the game is already over because they've already conceded. Which
Yeah.
I'm happy to buy that one, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
I
pretty
haven't seen it from his perspective though, as in his POV. I only saw it from the director cam.
There you go. There's a link in our little Discord thing.
Yeah, I am now having a look.
Or a
Running
live,
his perspective of
live
the
reaction.
kickoff.
We're a live reaction channel now.
This
on
is
Subpar.
happening.
Holy shit, we
Game
did
your
it.
GIF.
Game your GIF.
GIF. Yo, game.
Oh, it's just so
Ooh.
painful to look at.
Oh, hang on, wait, I need to go
Oh.
and have a second.
VAR is having a look.
So he goes. So he jumps, starts to like turn to the right as he's in the air, and then it doesn't look like his second jump like carries through. Like his
It
dodge
happened so
just doesn't
quickly.
happen.
It happened so quickly.
His air roll also must be like quite high.
Yeah, Cooks has a brilliant understanding of this, and Cooks is looking now. So
Oh, we have the Cooks here. Fuck speed.
it almost looks like a double jump there, doesn't it?
I think it did double jump.
I think it's a double jump. I think it looks like a double
Can you
jump.
see the
Hang
second
on.
jump?
Let me see.
Yeah, I think it's a double jump.
I just don't think the second jump is inputted.
I think that's a double jump, is it not?
It's so confusing. This is proper VAR. This.
It doesn't actually look like a disconnect from his POV.
But then you can't see the extra puff of like the sort of smoke stuff that comes under your car. Like the
There is a little
effect.
lurch. There's a little lurch.
There's a lurch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a lurch. This is the point: is that it isn't a normal single aerial takeoff. It looks faster than that.
Either way, I don't personally blame Ronicky. That's a 1 in a million thing that's happened. It's happened
me
to
neither.
everybody at some point in ranked or in six mans or whatever. It's
Yep.
just such a shame that it's happened at that point in that series, because that then would have put Barcelona at 3-3, and then they are in the
Land.
middle of the table as opposed to
Not
seventh.
land, sorry. Regionals.
Region. Oh God.
Especially because of their quite incredible win percentage.
Yeah, what 13-12.
13-12, yet being 2 and 4.
They're also +1 on goals.
Yeah. I really.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
sandwiched between a -4 and a -8 on goals, and they're just +1.
So what we've learned is that the jury's still out, and we will probably never know.
Right, Speed. We're moving on to the final bit, which is Twitter questions, which are super quick paced, okay? Right, so nice quick answer, Speed, alright?
Yep.
Okay. How much is
Yes.
being together... Okay, cool.
Funny once. Don't do it again. It's been funny once, and now we move on.
No, move on. How much is being together in the same room a massive difference while playing? That's from Mr. Surskit.
A ginormous difference. Being LAN environment makes us better, lol.
Cool.
Don't Ipswich Town suck? Am I right? Speed from Lady Penelope.
Yes, they're awful.
Harsh.
Literally
Okay.
League One. League One.
Lol.
Top of it, lol. And like
Lol.
bottom of your division, you incest
We're still 27 places ahead of you.
prick.
Yeah.
Right, moving on.
Idiot. How much is Lethamyr helping the team improve, and how would you rate his game knowledge applied to a coaching role? From Rusty F. James.
His game knowledge is incredible, and his ability to have a calm voice, especially in those losing situations, helps us a massive amount and has contributed a lot to our the reverse sweeps.
Okay, so two parts to this one. How many more names for Speed on Twitter do you have? And also, what's it like to play with a legend such as Cooksir, and what's he like in real life? So three-part question, actually.
Okay, taking physics A level, I have quite a few more speed-related things to do.
/r/I am very smart.
I am very Speed.
And then what's it like playing with a legend like Cooksir, and what kind of guy is he?
He's an incredibly genuine and nice guy, and it's an actual pleasure to play with him. I love him so much.
Oh.
Are you looking at him? Can you look at him and say I love you?
No, they've just pissed off to go and get the McDonald's.
Oh, that's harsh.
Blueberry
Fair enough.
muffins.
Hopefully the blueberry cheese. It's blueberry cheesecake. It's not even blueberry muffin.
That's exciting.
As long as it's not blueberry waffle cake.
Oh, that's true. How many hours do you put into the game every week, and how much of those are scrims from Stenson Eric?
As far as I go, I'm only on like 40 hours per 2 weeks, and most of them are scrims. Like 20 of them are scrims. It depends on like pro player, but me personally, it's 40 per 2 weeks. It goes up to 50 sometimes, goes down to 30, average around 40.
Do you free play much? Because I know that Squishy
Yes.
says that he free plays a lot.
So I free play when I'm bored, and I free play in between every if I'm queuing ranked in between every ranked match, right? But for the most part, actually, it's free play and then a little bit of custom training as well.
When are you getting a trim? Asks Blurry RL.
Oh, I need one. I think I said it on Twitter. Like, I tried to get one on Friday before I came to Hamburg, but I literally couldn't even park my car at the place where I was meant to get it. So I'm trying to get it done this week.
Wait, so you drove there, and then we're like, I can't park, and just went home.
Twice. No, twice. Yeah, no. As in, yeah, twice in the same day. I went at 1 p.m, was like, literally can't park, looked inside, and people were standing up waiting for haircuts. There were no spaces left for seats. So that would have been at least like an 8-person queue. So I was like, okay, I'll come back later. Came back at 5, same story, and I was like, okay, screw this then.
Berlin, the haircut capital of the world.
Oh yeah, get a German haircut.
I should do.
What do they do differently? Do you think you can maintain your spot as Jack number 1 next week when you battle it out versus Flame RL in league play?
From Tigray, that one.
From Tigray, yeah, from
That is
literally
from
Tigray.
Tigray. I mean, regardless, right now, Freaky is doing the most on that team.
Okay.
So even if we lost and Freaky did the carry, I'd still call myself Jack 1.
Nice. How do you think your team could improve from the Splatoon?
Win the first 2 games of the series.
What games beside Rocket League do you like to play these days? From Apply.
A load of games. New Call of Duty just came out. I play a lot of
did?
F1.
Is it good?
CS.
Is that any good? I want to play that.
Call of Duty is very good. The campaign is the best one apparently they've done in a long, long time.
There's been some controversy about that though, because they're like masking actual US war crimes as like fictional Russian war crimes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which is a bit
okay,
fucked.
that's a bit. Oh, I've just got the blueberry thing.
Okay, well we're
Ooh,
near the
hang
end of the podcast, so hold
Right.
off on eating it.
Yep.
Is a lot always so supportive? Seems like he never tilts to the point he goes quiet from Demox.
Yeah, I've never I think he's got tilted in scrims, but never at us and always at himself. I've never actually had a moment where he's gone, yeah, you're shit, lol.
Respect. And the final question from a lot. How does it feel that at any moment I can literally chuck you out of the window in front of you and there's nothing you can do about it?
Fine, because there is something I can do about it. Because I'm carrying you every series of league play.
Oh,
so
God, why did you go to them?
if you lobbed me out the window, then you wouldn't have anyone to help you win.
Can we get a live lobbing on the podcast? I want to hear some lobbage.
Linus, apparently they want you to lob me right now on the podcast.
Lob him!
Lob him!
Lob me, because like your tweet.
Lob him
what
out the
you replied
window.
to them with the question. Yeah.
Please don't hurt
No, he's too
Speed.
busy eating.
That's fair. Classic a lot.
Linus and eating, name a more iconic duo.
Speed, thank you very much, mate, for joining us on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Best of
Thank
luck
you,
in the
man.
rest of League Play, friend.
No worries. That
Are
was
we
good fun.
serious about crumpets in Madrid, by the way? Because I will bring some.
I'm down. Yeah, bring some. I'll bring
Bring-
the butter. You bring the crumpets.
Deal.
That's a
Lovely
nice one.
stuff.
Can I
Brilliant.
take
Marmite.
pictures?
No,
or-
you're in Swansea with Linus. We covered this.
Fuck's sake. Okay, that's fine. I'll have something with Linus.
Stumpy doesn't want to be with you in Swansea,
No,
Linus.
don't say it. Right, guys, going to end the podcast. Listen on Spotify and iTunes and comment on YouTube and on Reddit and stuff.
Thank you to our patrons.
Thank you to patrons. Love you all. If you want to help us out with patronage, go to patreon.com/subpar but in HD. Otherwise, guys, best luck in League Play Speed, and we'll see you in Madrid, lol.
See you, Speed.
Hopefully. Yep, see ya.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.